Hi, I'm Dave D, Chief Marketing Officer at GKIC, and welcome to another episode of Renegade Millionaire TV. In this episode, I have none other than the man himself, Dan Kennedy. Thanks, Dan, so much for having us into your home for this episode.
You're welcome.
I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, which is magnetic marketing, because magnetic marketing, as you know, changed my life. And in your estimation, how many lives has this thing impacted? I mean, thousands.
We have no idea, but there's been over, in all of its forms, there's been over $150 million or so worth of magnetic marketing systems sold. A lot of industry-specific advisors in the marketing world really have their methodologies based on magnetic marketing. Over the years, in terms of actual reports, correspondence, letters, faxes, etc., that's in the thousands. Right. So the multiple is, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people.
Well, let's talk about the overall concept of magnetic marketing. It is based upon not just, a lot of people think it's just direct mail, which it's not.
No.
But it's about, let's talk about magnetic first. Why did you choose that, and why is that so important to be magnetic?
Well, it is a shift. It applies to any media. Mm-hmm. Right. It is a shift in the way you approach the entire process of making a sale, getting a customer, fueling the growth of a business. So almost all advertising, marketing, and selling has not actually evolved much since the beginning of time. The media has changed, and people confuse the fact that there's new media with the fact that there's new method. But really pretty much is everybody's doing the same thing they did with a shovel now with an iPod, but they're doing the same thing, right? And meaning that they are hunting and pursuing. So most sales is not much more evolved from caveman, club over shoulder, leave cave in the morning, go out in search of food, kill food, drive back to cave. Mm-hmm. Right? You still hear hardcore direct salespeople talk about, I eat what I kill. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. And so most advertising and marketing that supports a sales process supports it in this way. It is about hunting, right? And it is about pursuit. Right? And so magnetism is the exact opposite. It is about setting up something that then attracts to you, right, if you will, your prey, causes it to come to you rather than you having to go find it, club it, drag it. Mm-hmm. It is also a practical application of a universal success principle, a metaphysical principle. I mean, many people are aware of, if they weren't aware of it before, they've heard talk of the law of attraction in recent years, the popular documentary, The Secret. There are always books on the shelf about it because it's a very popular thing to sell.
Sure.
Right. And so the principle of attraction, or what some people call the law of attraction, which is actually ridiculous, it's not a law, but this is a practical application of it. Right. This is, we are actually going to create a process that attracts to us the customers, clients, patients, the ideal customers, clients, or patients, the number of customers, clients, and patients that we need and want to achieve our goals. So it really turns marketing inside out, if you will.
And selling inside out, too. So as opposed to, as you call it, cold call, prospecting, grunt work, it changes the whole game for the salesperson. Because one of the things I remember you saying was talking about how the salesperson really should not be prospecting. Discuss that a little bit.
Well, because it's so inefficient. And it's such a poor use of greatest skill. So if you think of yourself as being in a managerial role, so if you are the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys and you have a great field goal kicker who's relentlessly accurate from 50 in, and it's got a great leg. And you are a moron if you are also using him as a defensive end. You are an idiot if you are having him also be the water boy. You are a fool if you are having him maintain the AstroTurf. Since he doesn't work much, mostly he spends all his time sitting on a bench and only kicks occasionally, why not have him run up in the stadium and sell popcorn and hot dogs in between the time he's needed to kick, right? Well, you would be an idiot, right? If you're a hospital administrator and you have the best cardiac surgeon in the world, right, and you also have him taking phone calls from people who have gone to the website and have questions about heart surgery, you're an idiot, right? And so you wouldn't do that if you were managing those people assets. So if you are managing yourself, if you bring it down to that, and you are a highly skilled, capable salesperson, or you're a sales manager managing a highly skilled salesperson or team of salespeople, what do you want them doing? Selling.
Closing
That's
the sale,
exactly
right.
what you want them
Right.
doing. You want them selling. You don't want them fetching lunch. You don't want them swabbing down the halls. You don't want them talking to just anybody and everybody, right? You don't want that. You want them selling. Think of a big trade show booth. So most dumb companies put their salespeople on the floor of the trade show booth. All right, smart company puts less capable people on the floor of the trade show booth to screen, sift, and sort
To bring it back to the
to
sales.
bring back to the sales. Yeah, exactly. So when salespeople have to prospect, either because they don't know any better, they don't have a replacement process for it, which for salespeople that's what magnetic marketing is, or they are ruled by a dumb sales manager, right, and they have to prospect. What we're doing is taking them away from their best value competency and having them do less valuable things.
Right, exactly. One of the concepts inside of this program, and there's obviously done for you campaigns and everything, is that of lead generation. I think a lot of people, when they think of selling their product or something like that, they're going directly for the sale. First of all, what is lead generation? And then what is the purpose of it, and why not just go directly for the sale?
Well, because you are going to leave a lot of people on the table behind. You're going to leave a lot of people behind who weren't quite ready. Okay? So if we are going to reach out into the community in which this house sits, and we're in the real estate business, and we are going to present ourselves now as highly successful real estate agents, Dan and Dave, we're the guys that if you want to list and sell your house, we're the guys. And here's all the 512 reasons why we're the guys. Right? However, we're going to reach out to everybody in this community. I don't care. Direct mail, hang things on doors, somehow communicate with them online. Doesn't make any difference. Doesn't matter. How many people do you think, it's roughly 5,000 homes in this community, are ready to list and sell their house today?
I have no idea. Not a lot, not a ton, because they're not ready.
Might be 1%.
Sure.
Okay. How many people over the next 5 years will be ready to list and sell
A
their
lot
house?
of them.
A
A lot of them,
significant
right.
percentage. So we waste that if our messaging, if what we offer people, if the only reason we give them to respond to us is you're ready to list and sell your house today. We waste a ton of resources telling that message to a lot of people from whom only a tiny percentage can possibly say yes to us. When we construct a multifaceted message that gives people a reason to raise their hand and begin a relationship with us, even if they're not ready at this moment to list and sell their house. In this particular case, that might just be idle curiosity. It doesn't almost matter why we start a conversation and continue a conversation, because we know sometime within the next 5 years they're going to be ready to list and sell their house. So that lead bank is a very valuable asset. It has money in it. And with the same dollar that we create the now prospects, we can create, that's my Mickey Mouse clock, goes off every hour. We can create our not now prospects and begin relationship with them. So it really requires you to understand that that there's money in lists, and that people gestate to almost every buying decision, certainly any significant buying decision, even changing something mundane as dry cleaning or pizza.
Mm-hmm.
So again, this whole community, X number of them, order pizza every Friday night from Domino's. And pretty much no matter what we do, they're going to keep ordering from Domino's until Domino's screws up.
Mm-hmm.
And Domino's brings the wrong pizza. They don't get there for 45 minutes. The pepperoni stuck to the top of the lid. Okay, the driver cusses at them, whatever. Right. Okay, so how many people who order from Domino's this Friday is that going to happen to? Not many, maybe none.
Right.
How many over a 5-year period of time? Just about everybody.
Right.
All right. So if we're in a continuous relationship with them, we have an opportunity to get any of them. So there's money in lists. Now there's different economics in a house and a pizza, of course,
Sure.
that control what we can do from a mechanical standpoint, how much we can invest in the relationship with the prospect. But so that's what lead generation is all about. The message part of this, so there's media, there's market, there's message, right? The message part of this is the magnet or the magnets. What causes people to raise their hand, to step forward, to give you information about themselves, to invite you, to give you permission to sell to them, to communicate with them. And so you structure your message to be magnetic for the one thing, two thing, three things, four things you want to invite in.
Excellent. Now you mentioned Domino's Pizza, and one of the classics that comes from magnetic marketing that you teach in here is that about your USP, your unique selling proposition. And you have an unbelievable question, which a lot of people have taken and taught. But what is it, your definition of the unique selling proposition? That's the first question. The second question is, why is it so important?
A unique selling proposition is not in and of itself panaceic, nor is it even essential, but it's very helpful. A differentiation is essential.
Okay.
So you might get there by unique selling proposition. You might get there by unique value proposition. You might, although I don't recommend it, get there purely by price. You might get there by location, et cetera, right? But unique selling proposition has part of a marketing message is extremely beneficial. It can be magnetic. It can be made magnetic to a particular buyer. Okay? The path to it, the question you indicate, the path to it is an answer to why should I do business with you versus any and every other option available to me, which includes doing nothing or not doing anything now. So in pizza, it's why should I, instead of making it myself, instead of keeping frozen pizza in the refrigerator, instead of calling Pizza Hut, instead of, I've got to answer the question. Why should you do business with me versus any and every other option available to you if I want true differentiation and if I'm headed towards any kind of marketplace dominance with any kind of an audience? So the Domino's example, which is now quite old, but it is what fueled the company from the very beginning. It really made their startup possible and made their success possible, was an answer to that question, which was fresh hot pizza delivered in 30 minutes or less, guaranteed. What's significant about that, first of all, is there's no mention of good pizza.
Truth in advertising.
So anybody says there's not truth in advertising. So there's no mention of good pizza, no mention of Mama's recipe from the old country. Right. There's no mention of, and so you see, like in the pizza wars today, you see Papa John's trying to stake out the
fresh,
better recipe, better ingredients, better pizza territory. Okay, so Domino's staked out, it's fresh, it's hot, and you're getting it in 30 minutes, and we guarantee it, right? And so initially, their initial locations were next to college campuses. So, I often say that. So you had entire hives full of people who, because of what they had smoked, were in desperate need of carbohydrates and in no condition to go fetch them. So this is an appealing proposition for them.
Sure.
As Domino's business expanded, the working mom who is arriving home to the nest, and the birds are, screaming, feed me, feed me, feed me, and she's tired, and she didn't go to the grocery store, and the 30 minutes or less, because their screaming is going to escalate with each passing minute. So the 30 minutes or less, works there
right.
too. And so when you look at that thing, it's only 7 words long. It has 3 different benefits packed into it. And at the time, it was unique differentiation. First of all, none of the major chains delivered. You really only had local independents, neighborhood pizzerias that delivered. For the most part, what they delivered was slow, late, cold, stuck to the top of the lid, you know, because nobody had figured out the mechanics of delivery, a heat bag, how to run a route so somebody could get there in 29 minutes, and, you know, nobody had done that. Today, it's not a unique selling proposition at all. So, you know, they're not necessarily a permanent asset. If you have great longevity in business, you're going to reinvent it many, many times.
In magnetic marketing, last question. In magnetic marketing, you talk about the difference between a USP and a slogan. I think a lot of people get that mixed up. What's the difference between a USP and a slogan?
Well, so first of all, if you take 90% of ad slogans, they are generic, which means they really could be used by anybody in the category. So last night was Monday night. Leno does headlines, right? And so he had a Valpak coupon for a lawn and garden service. And the slogan, which, did you see this?
No, I have
so
not.
The slogan, which speaks to the times we live in, unfortunately, because it's not a bad slogan.
Right.
The slogan was, "We actually show up." That's the slogan. In 36-point type on the Valpak coupon.
Well, that actually is a USP,
Okay.
isn't it?
Well, sadly, that's the point of the joke, of
Right.
course. But, of course, it really isn't.
Right.
Because we
Anyone
could
can use it.
move it to anybody's Valpak coupon, and it applies. Therefore, it's not unique. Right? And so that's the difference. So most slogans are really generic. Many slogans don't actually communicate any kind of a proposition. They are vague, clever, cute statements, right? But they are not a unique selling proposition. They're not a unique value proposition. They're not a unique price proposition. Now, you see what used to be Walmart, lowest prices guaranteed every day, right? Slogan and unique selling proposition. Turned out to be indefensible. Right? Therefore, you don't see Walmart using it anymore. By the way, the latest projections, something we were talking about off camera before, is by 2020, Amazon's the biggest company, not Walmart. Walmart right now is the biggest retailer. By 2020, Amazon will be the biggest retailer. Everybody thinks Walmart is inevitable. They'll always be a part of our lives. Don't bet on it. Life is long. Marathon, not sprint. But that's the difference. So sort of empty sloganism is really not this at all. This is message with teeth. And this is conveying, again, some compelling reason why I should choose you versus any and every other alternative that is available to me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much again for having us into your home for
You're
this
welcome.
episode. And that's it for this episode of Renegade Millionaire TV. Please visit us at www.dankennedy.com. And remember, at GKIC, we are dedicated to multiplying your income without all the BS. We'll see you next time.